Guilty of the lesser included offense of involuntary manslaughter in the second degree, a Class E felony. As to count 2, the unclassified felony of armed criminal action, the court finds the defendant guilty.
Guilty on all charges. Thank you for joining us here at 4. I'm Carolyn Long. A Jackson County judge you just heard there found a Kansas City police detective guilty of involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action in the shooting death of a black man outside of his home. Eric DeValkenaere will be sentenced for the 2019 killing of Cameron Lamb at a later date. And KCTV5 stands for you. We've been following this trial since it began, and we have team coverage for you this afternoon. Greg Payne, Betsy Webster, and Emily Rittman were all there at the Jackson County Courthouse when the verdict was read and are covering every angle of that decision and the reaction to it. Emily, we'll start here with you. You were inside that courtroom today. What was the reaction that you saw?
That courtroom was filled with emotion. As soon as the judge said guilty, members of Cameron Lamb's family, including his mother, began to cry. Eric DeValkenaere's family members were also emotional as the judge announced his decision. Cameron Lamb's mother, Lori Bay, was so overcome with emotion that she could barely stand. Supporters of the Lamb family clapped and cheered as they left the courtroom.
We got justice for Cameron Lamb.
The defendant, Detective Eric DeValkenaere's family, also cried as the verdict was read aloud in the courtroom. DeValkenaere and his defense team did not comment as they left the courtroom. Judge J. Dale Young said he reached a guilty verdict because DeValkenaere and his partner were the initial aggressors and were not acting in self-defense when they followed Lamb onto private property. Judge Young says that they did not have permission to be on the property, did not have a warrant, and were not making an arrest. He said they did not have exigent circumstances because the chase Lamb was involved in had ended.
When defendant followed Sergeant Schwam into the backyard of 4154 College and engaged Cameron Lamb, ultimately shooting and killing him, he did so without considering or being aware of the substantial and unjustifiable risks associated with his conduct, including, but not limited to, the fact that Sergeant Schwam and he were unlawfully on the property, that they were both escalating a situation that previously had de-escalated, and that their actions created or exacerbated the risk.
Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker spoke briefly after the verdict.
Today is justice, but there is no real victors in a case like this. And I acknowledge that for how people may see this case very divided, that I thought this was a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
And again, a sentencing date has not yet been set. DeValkenaere will remain free on bond pending sentencing. Reporting live, Emily Rittman, KCTV5 News.